It's Mary on the run. It's Mary, Mary on the run. It's Mary, Mary on the run. It's Mary, Mary on the run. Mary on the run.
Welcome to Mary on the Run. Not sure what episode it is, but I'm super glad, Lily, that you've been able to join us today. So introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. My name is Lily Scott. I am the class of 2017 at Trinity Hall, and I'm currently a senior at Bates College.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about where you are at college and what brought you to that campus.
Going into college, I knew I wanted to swim, but I still wanted to have an extracurricular life outside of that as well. So I wanted to go to a D3 school. And when I visited Bates, I immediately blended in with the kids, and or I should say young adults, because we're not children anymore.
Right.
But I definitely really appreciated the cultural environment on campus. I felt like I fit in right away, and that's remained true all my 4 years here. And I've absolutely loved swimming on the team, and yeah, it's been great.
So many swimmers of your caliber from high school would have been looking at Division I programs, but obviously you just mentioned why you went to a Division III program, and you've swam all 4 years.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that experience of swimming at a D3 school and where you are in swimming right now.
Swimming at a D3 school is a little bit different than swimming back home. I mean, we have a very short season compared to D1 schools. We don't start official competition until November 1st, or official practices, I should say. So it's definitely a little bit different. We do a lot of captain's practices from September all the way up until November. So it's completely optional up until that point. But if you don't go, it doesn't really work out too well for you on the first few days. But yeah, it's been very different compared to that. But I actually like it a lot more. It's much more condensed, which makes it that much more fun. And it's a lot more team meets instead of individual based meets. So you're swimming for your team instead of just for yourself, which I really appreciated. And yeah, it's been great.
Well, Bates is absolutely one of those small Ivies, as I've called them over the years. Schools and academics has always been first. So are you able to be on campus, or are you having virtual classes?
Yeah, so it's a mix of kind of three different options. So some classes are fully in person, some are half in person, half online, and then some are completely online. So I am able to get into the classroom for some of my classes.
What major did you enter with, and what are your majors now? Tell us a little bit more about your academic program and where you started and where you are now.
Going into Bates, I knew academics was going to come first before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to major in neuroscience, and that did not turn out to be the case. I discovered that I did not like the bio and chem side of neuroscience, so I went into psychology because I did enjoy the behavioral aspect of the major. So that's what I've been studying.
But what are the next steps now?
I am more interested in the business side of psychology, more so than the medical side.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm looking into marketing jobs, technical recruiting jobs, and also UX research and design jobs for after grad. So I'm in the middle of the interview process for a few different places, but I'm trying to work in tech. So that is my main interest for grad.
But so will you be one of those people that's kind of looking at how people act and behave on technology and figuring out how to then make sure that we get the right ads?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely part of it. Being able to use my behavioral academic background from psychology and combining it with my interest in tech is really exciting.
So what kind of courses did you take to prepare yourself for that type of field? And it's definitely something that we know goes on, but it's not often talked about, or it's not something that I relate to as a psychologist. So tell me a little bit about where did you combine the technology, and how did you develop that interest?
Yes. So when I came to Bates, they originally said they were going to have a digital and computational studies major. And I really wanted to do that in addition to originally neuro, but now psych. And unfortunately, they're still developing that program. So all they have right now is a concentration. So I have a concentration in that. And of course, Bates is a liberal arts college, so they didn't want to call it a computer science minor or major or anything like that. So it's essentially computer science in a concentration. So I've been studying that as well. And I've really enjoyed that. I wish I could have majored in it, but that just didn't really work out. But I was still able to take a lot of classes in Python coding, which was really great. And then in addition to that, utilizing those technological skills for community outreach as well. So I was able to take some classes that were able to conduct tech and digital community organizing. And we were able to work with our local Lewiston library to kind of implement a tech program for children in the area to improve their computer skills because they didn't have the knowledge otherwise. So developing those programs in that class definitely was an inspiration for me early on.
Tell a little bit about what you would share with our students here, our current students, that you've learned from the journey both at Trinity Hall and from Bates, and what key takeaways would you share for us?
I mean, I've watched all the other Beyond the Halls that have been published so far, and I'm going to say the same thing again that they've said, but use your resources. I mean, they are there for you for a reason, and until they're not, I mean, you don't realize how much of a privilege it is to have those resources and then be able to use them to your advantage for your current life now, and then the skills you're going to need later on. It's so essential. Being able to explore something outside of your comfort zone as well, I think, is really important. And you might end up finding something that you absolutely love. One thing that I wanted to kind of give the Trinity Hall girls now would be to not be afraid to develop and also learn how to use their voice, and especially not only for themselves, but also others as well. And being able to uplift other people's voices who have been not as heard or amplified enough, and for individuals who have been marginalized and oppressed, and especially right now.
Very, very powerful. It's been a climate with some unusual conflict here at school, and there's been some really interesting conversations and wonderful words.
Thank you.
So and so you've heard how you've been listening. So you've heard that we've grown, and we have our full building, 40,000 square feet, and it's good. But our graduates remain an important part of our community. And so we really look forward to continuing to hear from you. So is there a question that I haven't asked that you wanted to share, like information you're just dying to tell me? Like, tell me a little bit about your activities too. So brag for a minute.
Oh God. I don't like talking about myself.
No, you don't. I know you don't. And I'm sure that you've had many successes at Bates that you haven't even shared. So think about it, your confidence, and I can see how confident you are, how articulate. And one of the things to divert for a little, to deviate for a little bit is, I never expected this Mary on the Run series to be as inspiring to me as it has been. When I meet with each one of you young ladies, and I say to you, I said to an audience last night at Prospective Families, I'm in awe. I'm in awe of each of you. I feel pale in comparison to the Trinity Hall girls in this class of 27, because, each one of you is so confident, so articulate, so, just so capable. So take a moment. It's okay for women to brag.
No, I agree. You got to brag about yourself. And that's one thing I still work on, but you got to be able to talk about yourself at the end of the day, especially when you're applying to jobs.
Absolutely.
It's definitely something that's super important to have. And thank you for saying that. You're not pale in comparison at all. So don't feel like that.
I think I am, and I'm envious too, because you girls are at a different place in your life. And so I look to that, and I'm so proud of you. And when people ask, how do we measure our success? I can measure my success by the graduates. So that's pretty good, right?
No, definitely. I have a much bigger life outside of swimming too. I have been an office assistant for our career development center for the last 2 years. Unfortunately, with COVID, they couldn't hire us back unless we were Maine residents. So that proved to be a bit of an issue, but I really enjoyed that part of my college career. It helped me a lot grow in my own professional way in terms of what I want to do after grad. It helped me kind of have that gateway to success. And I've also been on our student conduct board. So whenever students break conduct rules and they think that they've been unjustly accused, or they don't think they deserve the punishment that they received, they go before us and we have to review their case and determine the correct course of punishment, or if we find them not guilty or anything like that. So that goes hand in hand with psych and being able to have an unbiased point of view. So that's been really interesting to do the last 2 years as well. And, you know, swimming's been great. I mean, I've always done it for the people, and I'm lucky enough to be one of our co-captains this year and during an extremely difficult year as well. So I'm very humbled to be a part of that team as well.
Well, and humble is definitely who Lily Scott is. So I'm glad I got you to brag a little bit. But now, so you have, it's like a conduct review. Is it similar to our conduct review? That I don't even know if we had conduct review as much when you girls were there, but now we actually have it defined. There are student representatives and faculty representatives on conduct review. And what is like a real learning that you've had with being part of that group? Because that's very interesting.
I think probably knowing when to remove yourself from a situation, because if someone comes to the board before you and you know that person personally, or you have like an outside relationship that might skew your point of view, but you want to help them out, but you can't, you got to be able to know when to remove yourself from a situation and have someone take your place. So knowing when to draw the line is definitely an important lesson.
That's a pretty significant point of view, Lily. And that's happy. I'm happy for you. Thank you so much for arranging your time and coming on even earlier. So this was great, Lily. Stay in touch.
Will do. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
It's Mary on the run. It's